This is the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 43. Moving into 22, still in a room without a view.
Superman.
Happy New Year and welcome to the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 43. Moving into 22, still in a room without a view. It's a new year, but we're still using 30-year-old song lyrics as references, because that's how we roll. I'm Brett Summers, and joining me today are...
Damien Hicks.
And Paul Hawkins.
And we're here to shed light on a new year, new television, new films, and the same ideas that have been bantered around for ages.
What, our ideas or someone else's ideas?
Everyone else's ideas. Our ideas are fresh, new and kicking. That's why we're using 30-year-old song lyrics as references. 30 years. Anyway, moving on. Right, it is a new time for us. It is a new year, and we are going to reflect
like
now.
Queen lyrics or something.
Yeah.
It's a new time for us.
Yeah, Queen. They were right. Right, so yeah, we are moving forward. Lots has been happening. So I'm going to start today. Paul, what's been going down?
Well, it's been Christmas and New Year's, isn't there?
It
So,
has.
I mean,
Have you recovered from our huge New Year's Eve party?
Yeah, eventually. It was a good session, wasn't it? Probably not as good as Boris Johnson and other MPs.
Allegedly.
Last May, but...
I don't think there's any allegedly about it.
But no, it was good, and much merriment was had by all. So went away for Christmas, had a nice little break, but before then we had, a couple of days just to chill out, and I was going to say enjoy Christmas before getting our PCR test, but as opposed to doing the usual...
Did Santa bring them for you?
I wish it would have been a lot cheaper. But as opposed to doing the normal recce of films and going down to the likes of Hugh Grant to watch at Christmas time.
You can't watch that anymore.
Why?
It's dated and outdated values, and everything's wrong with it apparently.
Oh,
according to Twitter.
What's wrong with it?
I know, that's
I didn't bother
because
reading it.
I've never ever seen that film, but yeah, Gogglebox pulled it apart, and then I was like, well, that makes sense what they said. And they were talking about he's gone to his mate's house to show her how much he loves her or whatever it was on those cards or something, and everyone was going like, what an arsehole of a friend, who would do that and all that, and I was like, yeah, I agree, and then everyone's going, no, it's romantic. I'm like, no, it's not, that's his mate's wife or girl,
and it's just a little bit creepy, to be fair.
Yeah, and just weird. He was much better at shooting zombies.
But he didn't do anything with it, and I think that's the thing.
I've never seen it. That's all I had to do.
I think he was just trying to get off his chest and move on, wasn't he? As opposed to leave.
There was hope in there.
You
There was
haven't-
hope in
never
them
seen
eyes.
And when she gave him that kiss, it wasn't just a little pick on the cheek. It's like, oh, maybe in a few years down the line, let me get the marriage underway. Then
Move
I get
to the
bored
States,
with him,
kill some zombies, come back.
and then when he's a bit more sexy.
If only the
Yeah.
apocalypse
Rugged.
hadn't happened, he might have gone. It's a long walk home, even longer with a boner. So yeah, what else?
well, we didn't watch that this Christmas time, and I thought I'd treat the wife and the eldest to a different type of Christmas film, and I may have neglected to allow them to read all of the small print. So it started off with Thingy Bob and her husband welcoming in some friends for a Christmas party.
Did you download the wrong film?
No. It's just because I didn't want to watch something that we'd watched 100 times before. So I managed to convince them to watch Silent Night with Keira Knightley, Matthew Good, and Lily Rose Depp. This is the one that we had a look at the podcast and did the preview of it some weeks ago, where it's basically, yes, there's...
Oh, this one, there's something going on out in the wider world.
Yeah, so they're having a big Christmas bash, inviting some friends along, aka a 90s rom-com type thing. You know, it's the same types of characters, but it's the end of the world. The world's basically dying, which was the point that I neglected to mention to my wife and the eldest daughter. So we watched that over Christmas.
What did they think?
They thought some bits were funny, but they were, you could see a little not shock in their eye. Their little the look in their eye after watching it, saying, "Isn't really got us into the Christmas spirit."
You're just sort of chuckling away.
Well, I just wanted to watch it, and it was quite funny in some bits. It is very Notting Hill-esque, you know, type 90s rom-com comedy. And maybe a lot of that's one of the reasons they got Keira Knightley involved is to feed on that type of comedy, Christmas spirit. It's okay, I mean, they do a lot of the relationship building and all that kind of middle class frivolity well, but that's about it. It's quite predictable. You can see how it's going to end. Not the big thing, the big cataclysm. Yes, we know that's going to end, but they try and make a little twist in it, but you can see it literally a mile off. It's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a wasted opportunity, shall we say? But it was a lot better than digging up something that I'd seen a million times before.
Yeah,
that didn't
fair
find
enough.
funny.
No, fair enough. Yeah, sounds good, and it did look good. I think we all gave it a thumbs up when we watched it and thought it might be quite entertaining. So
it still is a thumbs up, but it's more of a wavering thumbs up as opposed to a big old thumbs up.
So whilst we're on Christmas films, did we already talk about Last Train to Christmas?
I was just thinking exactly the same.
Did we talk
thing.
about that in a previous? I know we talked about the advert or the trailer, I should say, but
Because
you two
I
talked
didn't
about
watch it till the 19th.
I'm sure you two talked about it.
okay, it's fine if we've talked about it.
And unless,
Regardless of whether this is someone's first podcast or not, let's not talk about it again.
I remember you two having a conversation about it, and this wasn't just the trailer. It was the fact that Brett watched it and then said, "Oh yeah, I watched that," and then you talked on about it for a while.
Oh, maybe we did then.
Okay, that's fine. We'll move on. I'm not fussed either way because I haven't got any.
I don't
memories
think
of it now.
either of you were that fussed about it. You said it was okay, but then went off and
Yes, we did talk about it because we were saying that I was saying it was like an extended Inside Number 9 episode.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes,
I remember that
yeah.
conversation now.
That's right. 'Cause it was good, but was it a film? That was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's right. What else you got, Dane? What else have you
What have I got? Oh, okay. Well, I've watched a load of things. Let's just start with Wurzel. So there was two Wurzels over
That
the course
is
of.
the top of my list as well.
I'm not doing mine in any particular order. I'm not doing the whole synopsis of each episode or anything like that.
Good.
I think both of them were enjoyable.
Yeah, you
watches.
had Twitches on the 28th of December.
Yeah, so that was the bird watching one, wasn't it? And then you had the carnival
I'm going
one.
to say this. Is it Calliope Jane? Have I said that right?
I don't know.
It's Calliope. Calliope Jane? Or whatever. And that was on the 29th.
Yeah, and
That's the Funfair one.
Funfair one, yeah. Yeah, they're enjoyable, but I think they've reached the end of their
Good.
run.
No
now.
way.
Yeah.
Well, probably what, until
I
next
mean,
Christmas?
Well, no, he said
harvest time.
he hasn't got time to make any more at the moment. There
Good.
are no plans to make any more. But I just think they're an enjoyable watch, but both stories were pretty light on story, if you like.
Yeah, I thought Twitches was the weaker episode. The bird watching one.
I don't think either. I just think neither of them were particularly engaging stories. Like I said, they're great to watch. Just even the little cutaways of, the cameras down on the floor and a snail going past. It gives you that real sense of, English countryside and all that sort of stuff, and a gentler time, even though it's set in contemporary time.
Is there lots of cider drinking and throwing up in fields?
No. But it's just.
Now, see,
I think it's run its course.
I'm a big fan of the folklore side of it, and think they should tap into that more, like the magical tune that the scarecrow can dance. They could have. I think they should have made a bit more of that, and then
burn the scarecrow.
The snowman biker gang are always good now and then.
Yeah, I like in it. They got trouble written on spelt wrong on their backs. Troublemakers. But in the first. I can't remember if it was the first run or the second run. You had Michael Palin turn up as the
Crow. They didn't call him the Crow Man, but he was the Crow Man.
Yeah.
Wasn't
And that's just kind of disappeared. And I get, you can't get Michael Palin to do something every time you want to make a series. But they should tap into that folklore more because it makes more of a story. But the stories are just weak. Like I say, enjoyable. It's really nice to watch.
Are they trying to pander it more to the younger market then?
Well, I don't necessarily think he is.
He's trying to hold.
Or is it just not knowing which market to go for?
Maybe that's what it is.
But he was trying to keep because the Barbara, is it Youth and Todd, whatever the one that wrote it, they were a lot more sort of whimsical and kind of light and sort of polite stories, weren't they? So I think he's trying to keep that sort of vibe of it, whereas Pertwee just sort of went on a cup of tea and sandwich.
I don't really have much recollection of the original.
But
and that's what's tainted this one.
But that's what, but this is more
the original series.
Yeah, but this is more like what actually the character, because Wurzel marries in the books, he ends up marrying
Aunt Sally.
No, because Aunt Sally's the aunt.
I know. It's just like, where you're going.
The woman that works in the dump, the scarecrow in the dump, the little lady.
Oh right, yeah.
Hello, little lady.
Yeah, that's what that ends up being Wurzel's wife in the books. Oh, what's her name? Earthy Mangold. Just pulled it out of my head or off Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they end up that's his real wife, like in the books, if you in canon, or whatever you want to say it. Aunt Sally was like his aunt basically, but Pertwee I think wanted Una around a bit more, and it all got a bit weird. But so yes, if they do come out, I'd like a bit more like of the folklore side of it, like the mythical bit behind, like where we had with the Green Man episode and the other scarecrows and the Winds of Albion or whatever and all that sort of thing. A bit more Robin of Sherwood sprinkled on top, that sort of
vibe.
Yeah, and then I'm there because the Twitches one, I think, just whilst it was good for the other characters, I don't think it done much for the scarecrows really. It was just a kind of almost to show the family off a bit more because they're hardly in the episodes.
Yeah.
I'll Make You From Inside Number 9 and his wife and that. And it was alright, it wasn't bad, but again, but I think that's what they're going for. I don't think they're going for deep plot to it. It is, they want sort of 6 to 10-year-olds to watch it and enjoy it. It's not a...
No, I know that. I get that. I know it's not aimed at curmudgeonly 40-year-old balding fat blokes. But I just think there could be a little bit more going on.
I'd agree. That's why I thought Twitches was the weaker one, rather than the other one sort of brought it back a bit. Bill Bailey being a little, but again, I think they wasted him in a bit. He had like 2 scenes. Yeah, and he could have done a bit more.
Well, they could have done a bit more with just the fact that Bill Bailey thought he saw the scarecrows at the carnival when he was a kid, and it just could have been expanded a little bit more. Well, but again, they've only got like 45 minutes.
That's what I was going to say. Is it a pushed? Because it's almost like at the start he was a threat, and then you learn the real thing about him. And on paper, it plays out really well. But in 45 minutes, even an hour might have helped. That extra. So I wonder if it's more constraints from the BBC against what they're trying to do, mate. I don't know. Or just timing constraints and trying to fit everything in. But I would welcome another one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it peaks.
But I see what you mean. But they do need, if they are doing that one, they need to go back to the sort of the grassroots of it, if you will.
Or straw roots.
Yeah.
Grass and straw, yeah. The straw roots. So, yeah. No, I enjoyed that, though. But myself, then, you've took Wurzel from me.
Oh, I do apologise.
That's okay. But that was one I had queued up to start with. And now I can't think of anything. Because we've already done the
You should write it down like we do.
No one's got anything written down.
Do you want to talk about... Oh, I have.
Oh, go on, Paul.
I was going to say, I thought you'd mentioned Cobra Kai or something.
What's that? Yeah, right. No, I did New Year's Eve was when it dropped. I didn't get near it till later in New Year's Day. And within 24 hours, Cobra Kai Season 4 was done.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's nice thing. They're only 35 minutes long. So, you can binge watch in a night.
And I've never known a show now, since I've come back to school, everyone in the staff room was like, okay, you got that one person going, what's Cobra Kai? And then you can hear everyone take their breath in and go, oh, you've not seen it? And then normally what plays off next is whether or not they like the Karate Kid years ago. But yeah, it's gripping people I didn't think it would grip.
So has the whole thing dropped, or is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
sorry.
the whole burned right through.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, just one more episode before I go to bed. But no, it was I liked it. I've got a theory though. I want to run by you.
Go
I
on.
forgot the girl's name now. Who's the evil girl who's like really badass at karate? Is it Terra?
The one that was the princess.
No, the one who's like a badass, the
Yeah.
Cobra Kai one.
But had to take on the.
Oh yeah, she was a
the kid
mermaid,
as being
wasn't she? Yeah.
princess. Yeah.
Is it Terra?
Something like that.
Something like that. I think because they kept saying about her dad had a temper problem and that. I think her dad might be Mike Barnes from the Karate Kid 3, the Karate Bad Boy.
They are
because Terry Silver at the end says, "Oh, I'll get an old friend to help me."
Yeah.
And I was like, ah. And then Danielson, spoiler bell. And then Danielson totally trumps that at the end. And I was like, spooked. And and that was like, the ending was just like, holy shizzle, it's going to get even realer. Because it got real at about season 3. And I don't know what level of real we're at now. Because it's just like, ah. But yeah.
The cool thing about it is they're continuing on with this great little vibe that they've got throughout the seasons of kind of the retro, the new, the comedy, the light-hearted comedy, a little bit of gritty, but more like Stephen J. Canal gritty. It's got proper swearing in it and so, some violence, toned down violence, but it's just a great blend, isn't it? Of all those
a whole bunch
things.
of moves that would be totally illegal in a karate tournament. But what I like though is the twists aren't always predictable. And as someone who kind of gets bored a lot by TV because I can see it coming a mile off, I didn't see some of those things coming.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, they're going there. But yeah, so my thing, Mike Barnes is coming into it, and I also want to see Hilary Swank as the next Karate Kid involved somewhere because they've said it's canon. They've said it's canon because it's Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, I did see that.
So maybe she's the mum. No, because the mum's ill, isn't she? Or something like that. I don't know. But I'm just trying to think what other cards they've got left to play from the Karate Kid archive that we have that they haven't touched upon yet. And wasn't Michael Ironside? Michael Ironside was the baddie in the next Karate Kid, wasn't he? He was the John Kreese, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I'm just wondering whether they're going to...
If that happened, I don't know if I... lock me indoors and see you in a week.
They're going to bring in Will Smith's son.
No. When they do actually, they bring him in and everyone gets together and he unites the valley and they all kick the shit out of him until he dies. And then he wakes up in another Earth where he's a vampire or whatever it was. In a suit. And he makes that look good. Right, yeah, there we go. That's that.
Okay, so that's Karate Kid. Or rather...
So if you haven't seen it yet, get on it. 4 seasons on Netflix now. A friend of mine, Martin, said about the other day, I said, watch the first couple because he wasn't sure about it. And then I got a text, he was like, it's 2 a.m. and I'm on season 2. I'm like, there you go.
And the nice thing is, that season 5's dropping in not too distant future.
Well, that's the campaign at the moment. They want it in the summer, but originally it was supposed to be next January. But people have gone mad because they're like, we can't wait another year to watch it because everyone's just burned through it in the day.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering whether that will almost spur Netflix on to just drop the first 3 and then do it one per week just to drag it out a little bit, aka Disney.
I think they need to. I think
but it's not in their business model, is it?
No, well, I think for our sake, so we don't have to wait so long.
Yeah. I mean, I'd totally just drop it now. Just drop 10 series and I'll sit through them. But I know it's not a business, but I think it would help sustain because it's like The Witcher. The Witcher came out, everyone loved it, and then a week later, everyone was talking about something else. And I'm even season 2. I'm only about 3 episodes in at the moment. I haven't really gone back much.
No, neither have I.
I think I'm in episode 4 now.
See, I've not got that far. We got midway through episode 3, and I think Emily woke up or something, and then that was just like dealt with that. It's like I can't be bothered. Do you know what I mean? It's like we haven't gone back since.
It kind of feels with The Witcher.
It just feels a real drag.
That they've lost the plot. They can't make up their mind on where they want it to go, and like whether they want it to be big battles, Lord of the Rings type style thing, or whether they want it to be focused on The Witcher and him doing bits.
Well, all I've seen at the moment is him training the little
Yeah.
girl.
And just that's just cliche. It's like you see that in Star Wars, you see it, and all sorts. It's just do something different.
And it's just, they've
Kill
dragged
her, in fact, just kill her off.
They're just dragging it out a bit too long.
Yeah,
because there's only a few
But
episodes in the season.
there are Witcher sort of hardcores who are like gushing all over this though, and loving it and think it's amazing. I've checked the feedback. I mean, I knew nothing about it until I watched the first series. I know there's been books, comics, computer games, and whatever else, but
the whole shebang.
I went in at the series, and this is all
Yeah,
like
same
where
here.
my Witcher knowledge comes from. But oh my god, it's done that. It's like, that's
I
great,
like
but-
season 1. It's just I think they've kind of lost their way a bit with season 2, and I don't know whether it's going to be enough to drag the masses in to really care about season 3.
One of the little things that I've noticed in season 2, which took a little bit of the edge off of it for me, is more a production sort of thing. In season 1, when Henry Cavill, I said that right, didn't I? Is Cavill, not Cavill or whatever, was sort of a lot more on his own. He looked a bit badass. But now when you got him next to a girl and loads of other people, he doesn't look like a big tall badass anymore. It's kind of, they need to sort of Glenn Danzig him, where they don't film him on the same level and same distance as everyone else, because it's kind of like, we know he's short really, but
I missed the minstrel. That's my problem, I think.
Yes, I've been waiting for him. Toss a coin to the waiter, and all that. It's just like that. And other minstrels are available. I could do that. But yeah, I've not hated it, but it's not been like I need to see. Cobra Kai was like heroin. I needed the next one now. Like, what the hell's going to happen next? I need to watch that. I mean, with The Witcher, it's like,
I'll get round. We will get round to finish watching it, but
I
just
go
not
for
right
a
now.
shit, come back.
Yeah.
One of the series that was very binge worthy. Don't know whether you guys have seen it, but this is The Tourist.
Yes, I've got that. Yeah.
So
please explain.
So this was on BBC, and it was on
No,
iPlayer.
I was hoping you'd say this because it saves me from explaining what it's all about, because you'll do it much more succinctly than I can.
I mean, we saw the the little trailer on BBC, and it was like, should we watch it? It's got Jamie Dornan in it, and Shell can go one of two ways on Irish actors, her being Irish. I wasn't sure whether she liked Jamie Dornan after 50 Shades or some of the other stuff that he's been in, and where it's on the BBC, you kind of think, it's going to be a bit of a
can
letdown.
it be as good as it looks, that sort of thing.
But this is basically set in Australia. A guy has a crash. You don't really necessarily know this from watching the trailer, but he's lost his memory. He's trying to piece together what's going on, all the while basically there's stuff going on. People are hunting him. Is he hunting people? He's trying to find out who he is. And long and short of it is that whilst he's trying to get his memories back, he's got to solve out not just who he is, but what's going on in regards to the fact that people are dying, people are trying to kill him, and all that's going on around him. And it's actually really good.
Did we watch a trailer for? Did we watch this?
I don't know.
It does ring a bell.
But along the way, he befriends a almost like an apprentice Australian cop who is
Probationary officer. That's what she kept introducing herself as.
Yeah. So she's not your atypical TV or film star in the fact that she's not a size 6, and she's not badass in herself, but she's really, I've forgotten the actress's name, but she's really good, and the character is actually really good as well. And actually seeing their relationship, it's weird. I made some notes as I was watching it, and I literally put because I'm trying to describe it to myself, to a breakdown, and it's a bit like a cross between, or a mashup of Quentin Tarantino, Irvin Welsh, and then I put Death in Paradise.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Because it's got some of those warmer, characters bouncing off each other, and character and development and all that kind of good stuff and relationship building. But it's got a bit of an evil side to it as well.
And there's some good comedy in there as well. Some really proper deadpan comedy that you just
I like a bit of
keeps
deadpan.
it keeps you in the moment, because that's actually how you would react to certain things in real life.
Yeah.
Not the kind of run off screaming, but they're just kind of.
You can
that just
you can
happened,
tell
did
that whoever wrote it spent a lot of time, and I don't know whether it was a book, but bringing it to life on TV. And it's just a really nice program to watch for all of those reasons. That yes, there's actions, there's swearing as well. There's unexpected for BBC main time TV to produce something so good, and there are so many twists that you don't necessarily see coming, and it's just superb. And the nice thing about this is I think there will be a series 2 as well, and they kind of left a door open for so many ways in which the series 2 could go. If you
I think that that kind of the final twist was a very good way of subverting the audience's view of what they've just seen.
Oh, I'll have to give this a look then.
I mean, there was. I've literally written one line, which was, "It's a really good, stylish, enjoyable thriller to watch."
Yeah.
My only criticism is some of the acting of the peripheral characters was a little bit ropey, but
I think you're right.
Take away from how good a story and how well directed and stuff.
And I think that's one of the reasons I put a kind of a Death in Paradise type thing.
Yeah.
Because it's set also in Australia, you have to have some mad actors or some we've just been out into the public just to get some people off the streets just to be part of this scenes because you couldn't find any now out in the outback or whatever. But it's
and I love some of the places of the Burnt Creek and whatnot. Some of those names were great, and they probably do exist.
Yeah. I bet they do. But you have to give that a watch.
Yabby Creek?
no Yabby Creek.
Yeah, definitely give it a watch.
It's on iPlayer. It's in 4HQ, whatever it's
called.
The
Tourist.
4KHD,
and that's on BBC iPlayer. Cool.
With Jamie Dornan.
I think it was 6 episodes, or was it 8?
6 or 8. Yeah.
Well, I said on that note, I've started the Channel 4 prison drama Screw.
Oh, right, yeah.
I deliberately didn't go near that.
That's got your one from Derry Girls.
Yeah, the one from Derry Girls, that one from Derry Girls, and the one from Teachers and
that Christmas film that we're not talking about.
Dark Materials thing.
Yeah.
And all that.
She was in something that was really, really good about 10, 15 years ago with Tom Hardy, which lasted one season, never resolved itself, and really annoyed me. And I can't remember what it's called now. But they're basically all on a housing estate, but something's odd going on. It's like a newly built housing estate, and
Brookside.
No, they probably used the
Spring
same
Hill.
I don't know what it was called.
Do you remember Spring Hill though?
No.
That was a great show, but weird.
Anyway, Screw. So
Screw.
not watched this yet.
I'll be honest, it's well acted.
Mm-hmm.
Nina Sasanya, that's her name. It's well acted, but I'm 3 episodes in, and it could have been 1 episode so far. It's I don't know if it's padded out for. I mean, it's almost like it's the opposite of what we just said about Wurzel Gummidge. Like these could have been 20-minute episodes.
Yeah.
Because it's padded out for like 40 minutes or something, and it's like, but no one in it is rubbish, but it's just like you watch it and it's like you get the whole thing, and there's all. I don't want to give too much of the plot lines away because it will ruin the story. But she's basically Derry Girls is the new. I think it's Jamie Lynn something. Is the new like screw on the block, and Nina Sasanya is like the wing governor thing, But she's a bit weird because she sleeps in a cell at the end of the block, but no one knows that she does, and I don't think she ever leaves the prison. So there's weird something going on with her, and there's might be a reason that Derry Girls is the new screw, and that kind of unfolds as it goes along.
I've just seen the adverts and just thought, it's like another Cell Block H, but that kind of another prison drama. It's just going to be, there's going to be a prisoner who's got problems.
It definitely,
one that's
for
got
once,
mental
it definitely
issues,
concentrates
blah, blah, blah.
more on the actual prison officers than it does the prisoners, and sort of what's going on. But like, she's got something wrong with her, and there's but some of the things that happen could have happened in 10 minutes, but it's padding out over like an hour. So you're sort of watching it, and they're going about their bit. I don't know if it's supposed to be arty and get the monotony of prison life or whatever, but it's like, yeah, we get that, but we know I'm going to be entertained. I don't need to see you walking up and down a wing for 10 minutes or whatever. You know, it's just sort of, I don't know. There's a good show in there, but maybe the editing or maybe the, I don't know. But I'll watch it to the end just to see what happens. But I'm free. There's only 6 episodes. I'm 3 episodes in. Yeah, we shall see. But it's all right. But if there's something else on, maybe watch that.
Well, we'll wait for you to finish watching. You can report back and tell us whether it's worth watching or not.
Yeah, but again, there's nothing. No one's bad in it. I think it's more an editing, maybe a writing thing. They're all working well with what they've got, and people will pop up that you recognise and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, not kind of like, oh wow, what's going to happen now? Whereas stuff like Wentworth and Bad Girls and all those ones,
Wentworth was the one,
and even the original Sound Gates, there was normally some sort of ending where you needed to see what happened next. Whereas this one, like, oh, okay, oh yeah, all right, that makes sense.
Cool.
But you're not. Well, now I need to know what happens to her. You know.
Just take it or leave it.
But they're all on, I think, on Channel 4. You can watch. They're on 1 a week, but they are all online already, so you can watch them on demand.
Now. Is it still called All 4?
Yeah, I think that's right, or 4OD or whatever it is.
I was just wondering, are they going to just drop all of Afterlife season 3 in one go?
Yeah, Friday.
Cool.
So I'm going to start a conversation that I know I'm going to bitterly regret.
I know where
but
this
I'm
is
going to do it anyway.
Is it in a galaxy far, far away?
No.
No. Oh, we didn't know
that's what I thought.
Aha. I'm going to shock you to the core. We watched Hawkeye.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Go on.
Let me see what I've got. So
I thought this would be the one you liked.
Well, this is why I watched it, because you insisted.
Well, I thought, no, what we said was out of all of them, this would probably be one of the MCU ones that you'd like because it's got Hawkeye in it and he doesn't have any special powers. He's just really good at what he does.
He has no cape.
He certainly doesn't have a cape.
He does have a costume.
Yeah, eventually. So, if you take the Marvel nonsense out of it, it was
There wasn't really much in there.
No, so you say that. So, I mean, it starts off with the
backstory, though.
The backstory of the attack on New York.
Oh yeah,
or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'm already. Oh, fucking hell! Here we go. But yeah, take that away. You got a decent reluctant hero type story.
He just wants to get home for Christmas.
Yeah, but there was still. You said to me, "Yeah, you don't need to know about Marvel to watch this." There's loads of stuff in there that, like, the random woman disappearing in the bathroom for like 5 years or whatever it is. She disappears. Oh yeah, of course I know all about that, don't I?
I thought you'd seen Endgame.
No, I haven't. I've seen the 3 Iron Man films. I think maybe I've seen Assemble, but I'm not.
But to be fair, when I said that hadn't happened. That was one of the last episodes. To be fair,
fair enough.
But yeah, no, I get your point.
So I've got 3 issues with it.
Okay, only 3.
Only 3.
That's not too bad.
The fiance was far too much of a twat to be believable. That character was just stupid.
Oh,
Tone it down a little bit.
Yeah,
might have been a little bit more.
To be fair, that's toned down a lot more. Because in the comic, the swordsman is like a superhero, and he's got a sword.
That's what I mean.
But they made it less.
To be so much of a dickhead that him being a great swordsman was just a bit shit.
Yeah,
and you just kind of think, well,
stupid character.
Why would she get with him anyway?
Yeah.
Well, because he was. I think it was money more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she didn't need the money.
No, she certainly didn't need the money. I have a real issue with Fisk.
Oh, what's a Fisk?
So
the Kingpin.
In Daredevil, he's like proper nuanced, vicious bastard, but with all that stuff going on.
Yeah.
In Hawkeye, he's reduced to a one-dimensional throwaway.
Yeah, but I think that is more a set-up piece.
For what?
Well, whatever happens next, because this is him. Because
I actually genuinely, I thought, well, I watched it, and I thought,
he's not. That's not the end of him.
Well, my thinking was, is this going to turn out? It's not even going to be the same damn universe as.
No, this is
as
well, just as a
Daredevil,
just as
Netflix
a little
10 years ago.
Spoiler bell. Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock as in the SpiderMan movie.
That's not really a spoiler, is it? We knew that.
Yeah, but as his solicitor, but he actually is named. You know, he's not just in it. They name him as Matt Murdock, and he's his solicitor. He's his lawyer and all that. You know, he's only in it for like 5 minutes, but he is named. He's not just like, is that him in the background? Oh,
Yeah.
you know, like he's named in. So they're bringing that stuff in now.
Okay.
Finally.
And my other issue with Fisk is, how can he suddenly survive essentially a hand grenade going off on his chest?
It was always a tough dude.
Yeah, but
we don't know if he's got anything on. And all that will get explained because Echo, the girl in it, she's getting her own series, the Deaf Girl.
yeah,
So I'm guessing that will then all follow on into that, and maybe, well, hopefully we would see Matt Murdock pop up because it's his territory as well. And but I think that'll carry on. That'll be explained because he ends up a wreck, and he's not. It's not the end of him because everyone's like, "Oh, well, they just brought him back to kill him off." No, spoilers, but it's not because that is what happens in the comic, and he goes away and regroups, but he comes back for vengeance, and he's a lot more annoyed.
fair enough.
Because this one was kind of, he was taken a bit by surprise because he didn't think that what's her face was going to turn on him, and the mum, I forgot her name now.
Yeah, it's not important.
Yeah, the Conjuring lady.
Yeah.
But did you like the musical though?
No, I didn't bother watching that. I left the credits on to see what was.
No,
going
but
to
just
happen.
the fact that they'd done it's almost a parody of musicals. I just like the bit there where he's like, Ant-Man wasn't there,
Yeah.
which apparently was a dig at Hamilton, which I've not seen. Because in Hamilton, apparently there's like historical inaccuracies, but everyone's taking it that's what happened now because it's in the musical. And it's kind of, apparently it's like and apparently, like, again, not a musical thing, but all those people on that doing that, you know, I can do this all day, they're all like, basically, if you're into musicals, that is your super group, and you are like ecstatic about that because that's the guy from that one, that's the guy from that musical, that's the main guy from that musical, and it's all, everyone's really
That
excited.
must be so exciting for people.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, because apparently even Jacques Kane, the swordsman guy, he's a musical guy as well as an actor, and that was, I think, part of, you know, nudge nudge wink wink, but it obviously, I knew nothing of any of that world.
No.
All I know from musicals was like Grease and Cats is shit. There may be another. Grease 2, obviously.
Well, the new Spielberg one got
yeah.
slated, didn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, it won all the awards. Weird, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
One of the
I mean,
Golden
what's the
Globe.
point? It's a like-for-like remake, so why bother?
It's a
'Cause
seminal masterpiece that is almost a cult film in its own right now.
Yeah,
The original
West Side
was
Story is a fantastic film.
Natalie Wood.
Well,
You know,
I hate musicals with a passion, but actually West Side Story is brilliant. But so why remake it? I don't understand that. It's a
It's
bit
all
like
about
the guy
the money,
remaking
money,
Psycho
money.
20 odd years ago,
yeah.
probably 30 years ago now.
But
I suppose.
but what was the overall verdict then?
Yeah, like I say, it was enjoyable, but I think it's just a little bit too marvelly for my liking.
But you like Daredevil, but then that was the more grittier end of the
Yeah.
Marvel. Have you done all the other one like Jessica Jones, Luke Cage?
I don't think I got to the end of the first season, Jessica Jones. The first season's one with David Tennant in it.
Yeah.
And he's a proper evil bastard.
Yeah, that was probably my favourite one out of all of them.
I think maybe I think I did get to the end of that, but I just don't remember it. But I didn't pick up the second season
I
because
know,
it got cancelled. Then they made it to 2, didn't they?
It's 2 or 3, but they're all good. Most of them got 3 series. I think Iron Fist got 2, and Luke Cage got 2. I think, and then because they did the Defenders as well, where they all teamed up. There was like the 4 or 5.
Don't know.
The 6 series, like
As
that was like the
once I've
crossover
seen
series.
something's been cancelled, it's like, I'm not going to watch it because if season 3 or season 2, whatever it is that gets cancelled on, ends on a cliffhanger, I'm going to be proper annoyed. So I think, well, sod it. I've seen one.
Yeah,
that
it is
season
where
wrapped up nicely.
it
at
does
the
sort
beginning.
of it does end. It gives her an ending, so it is where. But obviously, you know, she could still turn up somewhere else now because we're admitting they exist again now. And but Luke Cage, I think you'll like. Luke Cage is very much a hero. Basically, his powers are like you saw him in Jessica
He's in
Jones.
Jessica Jones, isn't he?
So but it's just like him hanging around Harlem and stuff, and whatever happens in Harlem.
Yeah, I just don't know if I can be bothered.
Soundtrack's amazing though. No, I think you'd take you back to your sort of Judgment Night roots and all that. But yeah, no, I think you'd like that one.
Well, yeah, you said that about Hawkeye. And
You did like.
You
Hawkeye.
did like it though, but it was a little bit marvelly.
Yeah. Okay.
And Simon Callow back on the big screen.
I think my exact words are pretty decent, reluctant hero story. So, you know, liking is. Would I recommend it? Probably not.
Okay, back to you, Paul.
I was going to say, should we maybe talk about one that we didn't expect Amy to like in any way, shape, or form?
Got some real issues with this as well.
Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. Oh.
So have you watched it?
Yes, I've watched. There's only been 2 so far, and
Yeah.
first one's next one, third one.
Yeah.
Is tomorrow night. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna just read what I've got. I'm gonna read out what I've written down here. It is frustratingly slow. Do we really need the flashbacks to be as long as they are? We know we had to see how he survived getting out of Sarlacc. We've seen that. That's good. Well done. Good effort. Still the oxygen. Yeah, nice one. Get out. Have your things stolen. Right, yeah, we knew all that happened anyway, but good to see what happens. Now we've got Dancing with Wolves.
Yeah, that was the comment I did make.
And it's just dragging on too much. You get about, 7 or 8 minutes of what's happening now in taking over Jabba's criminal syndicate stuff. And that's actually quite good. And it just as it gets going, we cut back to bloody Kevin Costner nonsense.
And it did almost feel like at some times it was as long as Dances with the Wolves.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 7 or 8 minutes of current, and then the rest of the 45-50 minutes is taken up with flashbacks.
I think the other thing that grated on me as well is that whilst most of the special effects were really good because it's a Disney film, Disney series, and it's got money, the huts still look as bad as they did 30 years ago or 20 years ago.
Yeah, but they've done that, haven't they? Because the idea is they couldn't make them look really, really good because then it would make the other ones look bad. They basically tried to keep it. It's the same as the Klingons, isn't it? When in Star Trek,
that is such a.
Yeah, but they have. When in Star Trek, when they made the Klingons more in the Next Generation, they upgraded them and they had the big foreheads and all that. And then you went back to the 1960s and basically Klingons just had bushy eyebrows. It was just everyone was like, oh, the Jones. So they've tried to keep it in with.
No, that's a get out.
It was.
That's a get out. They should have.
They've got the money to do it.
CGI.
They've got Lucasfilm. They don't even have to pay for it. They own the stuff. They could make it better, but they're trying to. Because remember as well, this is only technically 3 or 4 years after Jedi, I think, with that. Because he's come out the pit. He's been in there a while, isn't he? But I think it's the modern, the present in Boba Fett is a couple of years after, isn't it?
It's about 5 or 6 years
after,
after Jedi.
Yeah, because he's already the Mandalorian.
Because it's it's the same time.
So they would have looked similar. But I know what you're saying. It still because Jabba looked like that when they CGI'd him anyway. I'd rather they kept him with the.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So your point doesn't make any sense because.
Well, no, my point is they kept it to
the other one. It looks worse in
CGI than it does
in the original Jedi.
Yeah.
So I guess it's far too much of an effort to do what they did in Jedi originally.
So improve the CGI.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm with you. It does look ropey.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it though.
Black. I don't think I'm enjoying it. I am actually watching it just so I can engage in these conversations. That is the only reason I'm watching it. But Mandalorian, I watched it for its own sake, and even though I could live happily not ever watching it, I still enjoyed watching it.
But they've introduced, I'm always going to say this wrong, they've introduced Black Chrysanthemum now, who's like the evil Wookiee bounty hunter dude, who's come out the comics and that, and
come to a toy store near you.
Oh, definitely. But he's an evil bastard in the comics, and he so it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. And I did think, is he going to be the next series? Because that seems to be, introduce a character, give him his own series, off he goes.
Yeah, but Disney can't do an anti-hero as bad as that. Or as evil as that.
Well, it's not Disney, it's under Star Wars on Disney Plus, isn't it? So they get away
still own it, though, don't they? So
yeah.
you know, there's all manner of problematic. I mean, they've changed the name of his ship,
Yeah, he can't be Slave One
so
anymore.
you know, the likelihood of them having a character that's as evil as you say in the comics, I can't see that happening. But Boba Fett to me, just at the moment, it feels like it's just a fanboy wank fest that they want to get as many little bits in there.
Yeah.
And he did go to Toshi Station as well. We finally got to see Toshi Station. I don't know if he.
So where hang on, no,
That's
I
when
know
he beats
no,
up the
I know
bikers.
this. So that's because he's going back later on to pick up some not bike parts, but some
Power converters.
and that's where he's going, isn't it? Yes.
So we finally wonder if they're still there. 'Cause he never got them.
Yeah, they're still waiting for him to turn up.
Probably at
I'll come in
discount.
and pick up some stuff for Skywalker. Oh, yeah, we got that here. There you go. But no, it's good to see. I mean, yeah, it is a bit fanboyish, I suppose, but it is that. I think it's going to move forward. And but my biggest problem with it is that, like, when did Boba Fett become? I'm guessing that's part of his Dances with Wolves. I would have gone Enemy Mine myself, because that was what Dances with Wolves ripped off. I would have gone. But you know, he's an evil bastard. You know, if he dies, he dies. Remember, like when he puts hands. But you know, it's that kind of okay. Maybe he's been on some soul searching journey since he came out of the Sarlacc or whatever. But you know, it's that Sons of Anarchy, Sopranos thing that we've talked about before. You get these characters, they're cool, you like them, then they do something horrific, and you're like, well, have they done that? And then you remember again, oh yeah, they're an evil bastard. Jabba the Hutt is more kind of John Wayne at Jabba the Hutt. Boba Fett is more John Wayne at the moment. He's coming in and I'm going to do it my way, you know, and be respectful. You know, he would have just shot him dead.
Yeah, and there's nothing about his being, you know, resurrected and living with the Sand People that should have turned him nice.
Yeah, not yet. We haven't seen it all yet. That's what I mean. Maybe they will get massacred at the end or something. Or, well, the ending's even going to be they will get massacred and he ends up there because he's got his Sand People robes now, so we know where they've come from. So he's like a chief or something. So are they all going to come in at the end and save the day? Or are they all going to get killed and then he gets the person who killed him and he's known all along who it was that's trying to get him? Or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be. But, Matt Berry as the robot was quite cool. I didn't spot that until the credits come up.
Yeah, I had to go back and see what was he?
He's the white. Yeah. He's like the.
I know.
I
did the same. I had to go back and work out
sorry.
what the character was because it says cast in order of appearance. I don't remember seeing him.
And there was somebody else that popped up. I was like, oh, Frank Trigg, the ex-UFC fighter, and he's a referee now. He's one of the Gamorrean guards. It was like, and Frank Trigg, and I was like, I didn't see him in it. I thought maybe he's one of the assassins because it's martial arts, and it's like, no, he's one of the Gamorrean guards. Although one of them, when they were walking, you could see the fold in the legs, and I didn't like that. You know that where it's obviously their legs are not as big as, but that's just, you know, if you're being real attention to detail. But it's interesting though. It's something different, and it's.
No. I will not accept that. It is not something different.
Well, it is in the Star Wars world.
How?
Well, there's no Skywalkers involved, and there's no one's even mentioned the Force yet.
Oh, okay, I'll give you that. But
do you know what I mean? This is underside criminal activity Star Wars rather than.
But it's not though, is it? At the moment.
Well, it will. Well, this is what I'm hoping. We're getting. You know, it's the
You're
backstory.
projecting your.
I'm seeing what it could be. I'm seeing what it could be.
Use the Force, bro.
No. Oh, and your show earlier on, Kate Ralph.
That's the Badger. Yeah,
found it.
one series and it just ended. I think, or maybe even two.
8 episodes it says.
Yeah,
2007. But
didn't finish at all.
But what else have I watched then? Because I can't think of anything now. It's weird. It's like I've gone blank. Oh, SpiderMan, the new movie, No Way Home. I've got them all muddled up now because they've all been on over Christmas. Far From Home, No Way Home. Yeah, whatever. The latest one. Really, really good. Predictable, yes. I wish they put a few more little twists in there. Apparently now there's an extended version that's going to come out to cinema as well now. That's Sony, of course, not because Sony have got the right. And apparently there will be a new trilogy of Spider-Man films, but apparently they might not be in the MCU now. It might just be Sony taking it all back, which in some ways sucks, but Because they spent all that time building it up, and then they're like, no, we want it back. I think they should keep him involved because no one will care otherwise. But
it does add another dynamic, doesn't it?
yeah, definitely, you know, just the fact that someone can turn up, whatever. And I'm imagining he's going to appear at some point in the new Doctor Strange film, considering he sort of helped cause it.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's going to. I think it's going to be a real psychedelic madness fest, really. But what I really did like about it, though, is that when the new Spider-Man started with little Tom Holland, it was all about, oh, we haven't got an origin movie. They're just jumping straight into it. And it turned out we pretty much had an origin trilogy. That was the origin movie. They twisted it around. It was, spoiler bell. Spoilers. You know, it was Aunt May that gave him the with great power comes great responsibility rather than Uncle Ben. They
Well, that's
changed
just
it around
wrong,
a
isn't
bit. Well,
Even
yeah,
I
but
know
it,
that's
but,
wrong.
but it was done well. But it was done right, and you know, and it was done at the right time, and it worked, and all that. And the surprises were expected, but did work really well. I just wish they dragged out Nicholas Hammond from the 70s Spider-Man TV show just to even appear somewhere, even just to say, like, I'm too old for this shit, or something like that. You know, like, we need you as well. No, I'm too old for this shit, mate. You go.
He could have popped up with like a Stan Lee cameo type
yeah,
thing.
just
couldn't
sort of
he?
thing, or even just something going, you crazy youngsters or whatever, because he's probably about 80 now or something. I don't know, but just. You know, just to get that, 'cause if you're getting everyone in, it's not high. He's the only other real one, you know, like of live action, and he's still around, so it wouldn't have been too much of a push. And
Maybe they want to.
I'm sure he would have been happy for the payday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, because he's still cashing his Sound of Music checks, I know, but he's a few more might help him out. But yeah, that would have been nice. But yeah, no, it's a good film. It's kind of wiped away now.
Do you need to know all the other nonsense?
Not really.
Hold on, when you say the other nonsense.
Well, there's been God knows how many Spider-Man films in the
Yeah,
last 10
but
years.
two from this arc.
If you knew the other ones existed and they had their own things going on, so you don't need to know the whole
Ins and outs
of them all, because like some of the villains from those films come across as well. So so maybe you do a bit, but you nothing you wouldn't pick up, and they kind of explain it and go, oh, he's from my world. Okay.
Right.
In my world, he did this. So that's why you don't like him. You know, it's kind of they kind of put those because it's still Sony has still got their hands on it, so it's still a little bit okay. You can sort of this seems a bit paint by numbers, and then suddenly it'll go into like heavy Marvel dialogue. Like, you can sort of I'm Spider-Man, I fight crime. But Doctor Strange, we need to really get this because the multiverse is in it. I want to catch a criminal now. You know, you can sort of tell who's been in charge of what scenes. But nothing against Sony. But yeah, no, it plays well. It's really good. It's made an absolute bucket ton of cash.
Yep.
And still is, and
that's
especially
all
if they've
that
now
matters.
got an extended version that they want to bring out now.
And at cinemas as well.
Yeah.
So they really want to,
Yeah, it's milk the cow, milk the golden cow while it's still going. So yeah, highly recommended. You'll enjoy it. Kids are loving it. All the kids at school are like full of it now. And by the sound of it, everyone wants every other Spider-Man to have another film now. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. The only bit I would say I thought was wasted totally was. Was the Venom cameo. Because at the end of the Venom Let There Be Carnage movie, at the end credits, it all goes weird and he's in the MCU suddenly and he's like, I don't know, I get here. And then at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, he's in like a bar in, I'm guessing Mexico or something, like getting drunk. And they're watching it on the telly and he's going on about like all this stuff that's going on. And then they do something that puts the world back to normal and he kind of gets sucked back to wherever he came from, but there's just like a little black blob on the counter, so there's like a little bit of venom has been left behind, so they've got their Venom now, I guess.
Right.
So it was like they've done all that just to set up a Venom in their own.
That's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, so but again, maybe it may come out in the Doctor Strange film, it could be.
It just sounds like they're edging their bets in case they can't get Tom Hardy for their
Yeah, exactly.
Next
So
film.
it's kind of, I wanted to see, everyone wants to see the Tom Hardy Venom interact with the Tom Holland Venom, but we haven't had that yet. But then at the same time, if you do it right, if he's got 3 more films and you're going to hopefully keep it in the MCU, dangle that carrot and don't give it away too early, even keep it to the 3rd film. Really, so when it happens, it's a proper what Batman versus Superman should have been. You got these 2 guys in the film finally together, like Ali Frazier, Hogan Andre, like all the big uns. It's that sort of, it's been built up to me, so rather than they just chuck him in a film with 10 other villains or heroes and then it's all forgotten about, like the original Spider-Man 3, where it was just kind of, he was almost the secondary villain. It was just sort of, it needs to be built up, but we can hope. But back to... Yeah, have another one, Paul, because you did bring up Boba Fett, but Damien hijacked it.
Oh, I do apologise.
No,
I was just contributing to the conversation.
We let it go because you had a lot to say about Star Wars. So it was... That doesn't happen often.
So, one that I did watch, which I kind of knew how it was going to be from the trailer, was Mother Android. So we watched the preview for this with Chloe Grace Moretz and Algie Smith, and they're pretty much the main characters. And this is the one where she's pregnant in the future, where AI starts taking over.
Oh yeah, we did the trailer, didn't we?
Yeah. So imagine Terminator without any Terminators.
Sounds a bit shit.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what Mother Android is.
iRobot.
Well, yeah, apart from they are humans. They look like humans, apart from the fact that they've got funny eyes, and they don't turn up that much. It's more of Chloe Grace Moretz and her hubby just walking around the wilderness for a lot, interacting mainly with other humans. And at the end they try to make it like a deep, heart-wrenching thing about, loss and leaving a baby for the greater good of but he just didn't care. So I didn't care.
Good.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, there's not much in the way of androids in it. It's just more about Mother, unfortunately. And it's a bit of a shame, because from the snippet of a trailer, there was almost a hint that there was like going to be big fight scenes and a big, almost post-apocalyptic battle, but you didn't get any of that. Yeah.
I'm still freaked out with the fact we're at the point now where Chloe can be a mother in a film. She's still hit girl to me. Don't let her grow up.
Yeah, I mean, her performance wasn't bad.
She's nearly a Beckham now, isn't she? Is that binned out now? Because she was with one of them.
No idea.
Oh, not that I'm following her.
But yeah, don't go out of your way to watch it.
And what was that on?
It's Netflix, isn't it? I think
so.
Okay,
sure. It rings a bell, but
so it is on Netflix.
I didn't have to buy it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
but it's just not worth it unless there's genuinely nothing else on.
Fair dues. Give that one a miss then.
Cool, Mr. Damien.
Mr. Damien. So next on my list is Stay Close. So it's another Harlan. I've forgotten his surname now.
Ellison?
No.
Globetrotter?
No. Coben. Yes, that's it. So it's another one of his books that's been turned into a TV series for Netflix. I think it's the 3rd or 4th one now. It's basically the usual stuff. A couple of families, secret lives, stuff being uncovered. There's a serial killer.
This one with James Nesbitt, yeah.
Yeah, James Nesbitt and the guy that used to be in... it doesn't matter what he used to be in. It's not important. It's good. It veers away from the book towards the end, which I found a bit weird. Because I was pretty certain I'd read the book. And I know I've read the book. But as I was watching it thinking, this doesn't happen in the book. Maybe I haven't read the book. I'm sure I've read the book. No, I did read the book. And then I've since found out they decided to change the ending a little bit to make it play better on screen, which is fair enough because it actually meant that I was a little bit surprised about the ending. So it's good. It's worth a watch. I can't talk about it because every episode is a different twist or a different.
Yeah, so just spoil a whole lot.
Whatever I say will kill it. But basically, it's the premise is a mother of 3 had a previous life. That life's now come back to haunt her through various circumstances that are beyond her control. But it's worth a watch. 8 episodes. Good show.
Oh, and Eddie Izzard.
Yes, Eddie Izzard is in it. He plays the lawyer or solicitor.
Okay, cool. Because we saw that advertised the other night when we were browsing.
What's that on? Is that Netflix?
Netflix.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, all like I said, the Harlan Coben stuff that's been done so far, they're all really good, and I think out of the 3 or 4 that they've done, there was only one of the books I hadn't read. But if you're a fan of his books, you'll be a fan of these shows because they are pretty faithful to the original text, and they're worth watching. But it's not much of a conversation really because
you can't give it away. No, but that's fair enough.
The
fact that it's that detail that you can't give it away, that interests me, and the fact that because sometimes you're like, oh yeah, but that happens. You're like, oh, okay, but I like
some of it's obvious and it's signal. Yeah. But then again, it doesn't help that I had read the book, so I don't know how well they've done with the Smoke and Mirrors, because even though, like I say, it's shifted to be set in Blackpool, and like I say, they have changed the ending, I still recognise enough of the book in there to know, oh, you know, she's going to be the one that does that, and he's going to be doing that. But if you haven't read the book, I'd imagine it probably some of it will come as a bit of a surprise to you.
Cool in the gang. Well, I'll have a look for that. Another one. I just remembered. The Amazing Mr. Blunden.
Yeah, I didn't write
what was that like in the end?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was clever. Very much classic. Well, it was a classic anyway because it's a remake, isn't it? Really, but or Mark Gatiss's interpretation of The Amazing Mr. Blunden. But it was very much of the sort of Moondial kind of kids, throwback type stuff, with the sort of mysterious old man, time travel, box of delights. Had that kind of vibe to it.
Stuff.
Really cool. Loads of cameos and people turning up. I don't know if that was stunt casting or not, but they had like some really cool people even popping up for cameos. I know one of the older ladies, I forget the actress name now, who appeared when they're like buying the house. Original. She was the girl from the original one and stuff like that. And I like things like that. Just a little bit of respect to what's gone before. You also had I can't think of her name now. She was in Life on Mars. She was the main woman police lady in Life on Mars.
Keely Hawes.
No, that's Ashes to Ashes.
Sorry. Oh yeah, you're right. She was the sort of housekeeper, not housekeeper, but gave him the keys to the
Liz
house.
White, yeah. And also she's the woman in black. So you got your scary haunted house lady.
Is she?
Yeah, she was the woman in black. I mean, she had no lines. She just stood under a net and kind of pointed and
that's my kind of
scary did scary shit. But it's quite. I think it's quite a good. Who are you? I was the woman in black. That's everyone knows it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Liz White, she popped out as well, and I was almost like, was that because of, I don't know, it just made me laugh, like the haunted house, and she was like the housekeeper, and sort of like, I don't know if that was, but no, Mark Gatiss, that probably isn't Paris. You also had obviously Sean Gilder, who's Paddy Maguire from Shameless, popped up. Tamsin Greig and Mark Gatiss as Mr. and Mrs. Wickens was awesome. I thought the kids done alright in it, and Simon Callow as Mr. Blunden was...
I did have a bit of an issue with Mark Gatiss and Tamsin Greig in it. That felt a little too hammy for my liking.
Yeah, they patterned it up, but I don't know if that was.
But it would have been alright if all of it was hammy. But it just felt like only those two characters were the.
I wasn't sure if that was on purpose though. Was that like a? Because again, not knowing the original, because you've seen the original one.
Yeah, the original one was kind of played straight, insofar as a 1972 cheap film can be played straight. If you see what I mean, I'm sure if we watched it now, we'd think it was bloody awful. Yeah. But
I just have that thing when it's Mark Gatiss, I'm like, well, that's probably a reference to something, like that kind of. There's always like, if something, without meaning this to sound the wrong way, sometimes he can be a little bit too anal about things. With details and plot. Like I said, like I reckon Liz White was the housekeeper because she was the woman in black or whatever, and it's sort of, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I took it there might be some sort of reason or reference, but yeah, you're right. It was very much kind of, they were the only ones that looked like they might have been on children's BBC.
Yeah.
Whereas all the others were a bit more. No, I can give you that. And Simon Callow, well, the man's a Jedi. He can do anything.
He was perfect.
He could play the shark in Jaws, and it would be awesome. You know what I mean? He's just like. But yeah, no, really enjoyed it. Maybe a tad long, but
Yeah.
there was a little. I don't know if it would have worked better, maybe as like a two-parter or something, rather than as a whole film. That might have kept me, because there was a sort of bit in the middle where you sort of like get on with it then, because you can see what's going to happen and you want it to happen. And you're like, okay. But it was good. It was enjoyable. Again, another thing you could put on for the whole family to enjoy and not have to worry about. The things you worry about in films and TV these days.
Yeah, it's what I would class as a family film.
There were no bludgeonings. There were no boobs.
Cartoon.
There was, it was a bit, I suppose, scary for younger kids at times, but in a way that TV should be scary.
Yeah.
And the villains get their comeuppance at the end of the day.
Yeah, we just need him now to pick up Box of Delights and remake that, and we'll all be happy.
That would be cool.
Maybe we should just.
I'm guessing
pile on him on Twitter.
Simon Callow to take on the Patrick Troughton role.
Yeah.
Because that's about the only person I can think could do it, unless they get Sam Elliott.
Ooh, yeah.
My box of fucking delights. Beep. Sorry. I'm your Huckleberry. That was good. Paul.
Okay, so you've talked about your BBC thing with the odd cameo here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go for a big blockbuster with cameos everywhere. This had so much hype just because of who they got in it, and I think that took away so much from the actual film. And this is Don't Look Up.
I've heard a lot about this.
I've just seen so much about it that I don't want to bother watching.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue, because they overhype it because of the cast. I mean, it's got basically everyone. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, Kate Blanchett, Jonah Hill, Ron Perlman, on and on and on and on, to the break of dawn. There's basically everyone in it. God knows what the budget was for it, or whether they pulled some favours, or just to get people in it, because Leo was in it. I call him Leo. So this is the one where Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, they're astronomers. They basically find out that there's a comet on their way to Earth, and it's on a big collision course. It's an Ellie, and we all know what Ellie means now from the 90s. It means Eddie.
What?
Extinction life event. I was just seeing if you were listening.
No, listen.
You're not. You're googling. You're on IMDb looking at the cast or something.
No, I'm not. Harry Enfield suddenly came up, was trending on Twitter, and I was worried he died.
Yeah, so they find out there's a big meteor coming our way, comet rather, coming our way, and they have to try and convince the government, US government this is, to do something about it in the first instance. And it's the big uproar about they're trying to make an apolitical thriller about and satire about the government not really interested unless it's in their own benefit, or downplaying stuff. The media are always downplaying stuff unless it all that
all the usual.
Yeah, and it just didn't do it for me. Because they try to overhype it. And make some of the characters too large for life. I mean, Jonah Hill and Meryl Streep.
So we've had a Jonah Hill sighting, because he sort of vanished for a while, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, but
is he still buff, or has he kind of reverted back to his true form?
So I wouldn't say he was buff, but obviously Leo's in it, so he probably did him a favour, and got him on the cast of this one. But because their characters are so larger than life, it kind of, some of the satires gets lost. If they'd kept it more of true life. This is the president and their aide, and they're trying to convince them. But basically, Jonah Hill is Meryl Streep's idiot of a son who she's just given the job to, and he is clueless, but quirky comedy clueless as opposed to real life satire. You know how the BBC do all their satire, and it's really funny because it's true to life.
Yeah.
Or you can imagine it being true to life. They did it a step too far.
Like the day-to-day brass eye, that sort of thing as well, yeah.
But because those characters were too far gone, it lost something, and it just kind of fell apart a lot because of that. And it wasn't really, a great satire. It tried to make a few good points, but fell short along the way. And even the ending, the ending was quite good. I thought they were going to, try and do a Armageddon type thing at the end, but they didn't necessarily pull it round to that whole blockbuster thing. That they tried to keep it a satire. It was only when the Bill Gates in the film finds out that there's a lot of gold or whatever it is, minerals in this comet, that they decide, well, maybe we should just let it hit the Earth, but we'll do something where we can break up into smaller chunks and make it so that we can retrieve all of the minerals for our organization and our government. Yeah, and you could kind of see someone thinking along those lines of, well, we don't want to necessarily vaporize it, do we? Is there a way we can try and get some of the money out of it?
Yeah.
But as I said, I think they went a bit too far. But the ending was quite, and it does kind of narc me to say it, but they did make it as touching as I think they could have with everything else that was quite crap.
I suggest we move on then.
Yeah,
that's the American way.
Yeah.
Right. What a waste of what it could have been. How many? Yeah. David.
I've only got a few things left. So we've already done. We've established that we talked about Last Train to Clarksville, Last Train to Christmas.
Yeah.
We did lose another monkey though, Mike Nesmith.
So the Ghost Christmas special. This is the UK version of Ghost, so the original. It was good, but I genuinely think it might be time to call it a day on Ghost as a season, unless they can move on the two.
That's the whole
still
point of
living.
Ghosts. They've got unfinished business. They can't move on.
Yeah, but so the two living characters, so the ones that aren't ghosts, are still in the exact same situation as they were when it began 3 series ago. No money, inherited a house, don't know what to do with it, struggling every day to do something and come up with a new scheme to make money.
Maybe
out of
they
the house.
should hire the ghosts out for money or something.
I think that has been touched on as a throwaway comment in the
Is it really?
Yeah, something like that. No, because they tried to make money out of doing ghost hunts, and none of the ghosts would play ball. It's funny.
I think I actually watched this. But this is the one with the Father Christmas that was in a tent.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a throwaway Christmas episode, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it's still funny. There's still funny bits in it. And like I said, the season itself is funny. I love the characters that the ghosts are playing. And I mean, I've mentioned it so many times. I wax lyrical about how much I enjoy it. And in fact, Sarah hadn't watched it, so I actually made her sit and watch all 3 series of it.
See, we're not even that cruel to you. We give you an opportunity and a choice.
She likes it now. She watched the first episode with me and didn't take to it, but then I've made her watch the rest of it now, and she finds it funny. But like I said, the 2 main characters are still in exactly the same situation, so they either need to do something, either stick to one idea, i.e. make the house a hotel or not a concert venue, a venue of some sort, to bring in more people that aren't either the ghosts or them two, because it's just 3 years down the line.
Stale. Getting stale.
But they could make it kind of Fawlty Towers type place, couldn't they?
Anything. And I know the American one, they've done that straight away, didn't they? They
don't know.
I never got.
I haven't watched it, but I've seen the previews or some bits about it, and within 2 episodes it was a B&B or something. And
but because they've got it clued up, they know how to introduce new characters.
Well, yeah. But then, to be fair, them struggling in the first season and maybe the second one is funny, but it's the same
Gets to a point,
thing.
yeah.
It gets to a point where it's just like that. We need to find a new scheme to make money out of this house. Well, why don't you, if you just stick to one of them will work. So they either need to knock it on the head, or just progress those two characters to have more going on in it. But and I love going around the house going Muna, which means nothing to you two, but because Emily's obsessed with the moon, so whenever she looks up and goes moon, I go Muna, which is fun. And I'm just going to wrap up the last one I've got because it's very, very quick. The game show with Jimmy Carr, I literally just told you. If you haven't watched that yet, it's funny. It's well worth watching. Yeah. Don't bother with the celebrity special too much, but the ones with normal people in are really, really good.
Cool.
Because Jimmy Carr's comedy is funny. He's very cutting, and it's just basically it's a memory game.
I saw the
show.
Big Fat Quiz of the Year. That was quite good.
I lost patience with those.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10 it's got Claudia Wilkerman in, and
No, she wasn't on it.
I've got nothing against her necessarily, but just hams it up too much for my liking. But yeah, literally just told you it's a memory game, so stuff's happening in the studio and they're asking questions, talking to each other, and then it's like the next round is basically we've just told you what the questions are going to be. You've got to now remember what the answers are. So, you know, if they mentioned Ariana Grande's birthday or something, you know, when did we say Ariana's birthday was? And it's like 5 minutes ago. You've got to remember. It's really good because actually it's really difficult to remember stuff. That's worth a watch. And the really cool thing is, in a couple of episodes ago, a guy lost the final round because he was asked what Ariana Grande's birthday was, and that hadn't actually been mentioned in the show, so he didn't know the answer. And then it cut to some amount of time later, and Jimmy Carr's doing his normal stand-up somewhere in a venue, and he gets to the end of the show and he goes, "Oh, I've got someone I want to pull up on stage. This is whatever his name was. He was on a game show that we're currently recording." Brings him up on stage and hands him a check for 18 grand, saying, "We made a mistake. The show we never covered up when her birthday was, or what age, whatever the question was. That was never covered in the actual recording of the show. So that's why you wouldn't know. You wouldn't have known the answer because it was never mentioned in it. So here's a check for £18,000 because that's what you lost by not answering the question." So I read somewhere that came out of Jimmy Carr's pocket. I don't believe that for a second. That would be the production
of course it would.
company.
Yeah. It might have come out of his tax rebate.
Yeah. 15 years ago. Give it a break.
Yeah, he's still living off that. That revived him.
It's evasion, not avoidance. So it's
Yeah.
fine.
That was a question on Big Fat Quiz of the Year. They talked about that.
Yeah.
What was it?
Again, he's still, you know.
Oh, he mentioned it gets mentioned in the. I literally just told you, but yeah. Anyway, so that's that.
Okay, well, my last one then is an old classic that was on over Christmas that I sat back down and reintroduced myself to. It was like meeting an old friend. Columbo Goes to College.
Oh yeah,
I think I saw you put that on Facebook.
Yeah, I told everyone to watch it because it's that good an episode. It was, I think it was about December the 9th, 1990. It was the original air date, and it's Columbo. What's brilliant about it, and why it probably is the best Columbo episode ever, is that
you mean better than the Johnny Cash episode?
Yep.
Well,
this is like, because it's Columbo now. He's an older policeman. He gets invited by this college to go and talk about like police forensic investigating, all that sort of thing, and he's the guest lecturer. And whilst he's in doing the lecture, the murder takes place. The murderers have got, because it's the 90s, they've got like a CCTV camera and like a remote control gun somewhere in the car park, and they kill the lecturer, Professor Rusk, played by James Sartorius, who has probably got the record of being the most characters in Murder, She Wrote. And also in Quantum Leap, he was, I can't remember if he's the sleazy author or the rabbi. Remember when Sam has to save the sister from marrying him because I think he ends up giving her a bad life and she ends up dying, and Sam becomes a rabbi.
I'm sure if I saw a bit of it, I remember.
But basically, he spent years bouncing around those programs, being that kind of guy. But he gets killed anyway, and it's Stephen Caffrey, who ended up in all sorts of programs, and Gary Hirschberger, who was also in Twin Peaks. William Luckin turns up as the ex-con brother, who may or may not have done the murder, being just William Luckin, really. I don't think he even...
sipping with... No, is it whiskey or vodka he's drinking at the time?
Yeah, sorry. I think he brought his own props. Alan Fudge is in it, who pops up in everything. Couple of old school... Robert Culp, Greatest American Hero, etc. Rita Sue Bob 2. Gary Stockwell, Old American... There's loads. There's janitor, Dick Balduzzi. It's just full of like stunt cast, old school American, probably like 40s, 50s, 60s actors, as well as like some new school. But the whole thing of it is they're mocking they're nice to him at the front because they're training to be like forensic or science, that sort of forensic science, and they're kind of the whole way through they're just mocking Columbo, the two lads are, because like, you know, they're young and hip and rich and they know what they're doing, and he's like this diddery old man in a coat. Although I'm sure when I watched it before, there was a bit where he looked at something and he went into a shop and it was a dodgy shot and he had a Mac on, and another guy came out with like a brown paper bag and a Mac on. He went, "Oh, nice coat." That bit, I'm sure that was this episode, but it wasn't on, that scene wasn't on it this time. I don't know if it's cut out or maybe I've just muddled it up with another one, misremembering. Yeah. But I'm sure it was this episode. Mr. Ben. Yeah. But, you know, and it's that whole thing of their arrogance and their use of new technology and all this, and he won't know any of it. But it's Columbo. He knows.
He always gets his man.
And, yeah.
Or woman.
But while he's doing the lecture as well, he's talking about his old cases. And one of the ones he talks about is it was the Patrick McGowan episode where how he caught someone by having a piece of cheese with their bite mark on, and that's how I identified it against the body and all that. So he's actually self-referencing other episodes that he's done whilst he's doing it as well. So it's almost meta Columbo. and that's why...
Don't get that confused with Mecha Columbo that takes on King Kong.
That's the new one where he becomes just a CGI robot. My wife. But yeah, and it's really good. And right at the end, how he catches them, spoilers, is that he basically goes in and makes a phone call that William Luckin's character's car has been seen, because they're looking for him because he's gone hiding, that it's been seen outside this bar, and of course the two lads hear him and they go and plant the gun in the car, and of course then the police raid it and it gets spotted and all that. And then all the way through, it turns out at the end, they're like, well, that's the gun. He has to have done it. His prints are on it. It's forensics and all that. He goes, yeah, but the problem is, that's not his car. It's my wife's car. And all that. So, of course, he goes, and the only way we would know it was if you heard me phone through on the comment, you were the only two people that heard it. He said, so you were the only two people that could have planted the gun. Boom. And then they're like,
gotcha.
Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, take that, you smug gits. Columbo. In your face, bitches. But which he doesn't say. But yeah, kind of a warm nostalgic glow from watching that one, going back and still seeing that, you know, 30, 40 years later from when he first started, he's still got his men. But yeah, great episode. Lots and lots of faces you recognise popping up, and yeah, just cool Columbo stuff.
Good old Channel 5.
Yeah. Mr. Hawkins.
So I just wrap up with a couple of Disney films because it's Christmas and they just came out on Disney. So we watched Disney's Encanto, and
that is going down at school. That is the bomb at the moment, if the kids still say that. Encanto.
Yeah,
I have to keep putting the songs on in the morning and tutor and stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's Disney's just pulling out the old song fest, isn't it? It felt a bit more. We're just going to be sing about anything type of musical, as opposed to the likes of Frozen 1 and not Frozen 2. That Frozen 2 was, we're going to sing about anything and everything just because it's happening, and this seemed a bit like it. Yeah, it's a right kids film. They try to bring in some poignancy as well with the reasoning behind why the family got the magical powers and the tragedy involved there as well. It's okay. It's one for the kids, but it's not really an adulty type kids film, family film, you know, that we talked about in the past. And the other one was Ron Goes Wrong, which unfortunately just misses the mark. It's a cross, the character's a cross between almost like Baymax and Wall-E, and he fails at being as good as either of them. You know, Baymax was brilliant.
I've seen the first half of that movie twice, but I never got to see the end.
Yeah.
At Christmas over school, and they're like, I'd be in the lesson that started it, and then they'd finish it somewhere else for their Christmas treat. So I've not seen the end yet.
Yeah, but unfortunately for me, I love Big Hero 6. I think that's probably one of the most underrated animated films out there. Because I think Frozen came out at the same time.
But that dude's got his own series coming up soon.
Ron?
No, Baymax.
Oh, Baymax, yeah, on Disney.
He's got a series coming out because the kids are excited about that as well.
Yeah, and Baymax is generally a great character, and even Wally at the time was this little sincere robot. Didn't do anything for me or the kids actually. That's me done. Mic drop.
Anyone else got anything else they remember watched?
No, I think that's it. So should we do a quick news?
Yeah, let's just...
Jobby?
News desk.
The news.
News items.
Okay, first thing up on the news desk this evening, we have got The Boys. They're back, and season 3 is coming. Tell us, Damien.
So, yeah, Amazon have released a new trailer for season 3 of The Boys, and it ends revealing a June premiere date.
Cool.
Ooh.
So this is an extension of the Voight snippets, vignettes, whatever it is you want to call them, that we've seen over the last...
Oh, the Voight News Network, isn't it? The news.
So this is just pretty much the trailer's just sort of an extension of that. So doesn't really give a lot of detail about what's going to happen in season 3, but we now know there's going to be a June premiere.
And not long to wait.
So not long to wait, and whether that all drops... It's Amazon, isn't it?
Yeah, one a week.
It's going to be one a week, isn't it? Which is annoying, so I think I'll give it a good 2 or 3 weeks before I start watching it.
Yep.
But yeah, something to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely. So that's June, because the last ones have all been January, haven't they? I suppose that's COVID, though, isn't it?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, next up on the news desk, Resident Alien is back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Tell us.
So, Resident Alien Season 2 premieres on January the 26th.
Brilliant.
On Sci-Fi. The stranded, curious alien known as Dr. Harry and Tuduk. Let's all do it. We all do it. Every time we mention his name, someone's got to do it. Tuduk. He tends to patients in the sleepy town of Patience, Washington, and questions about the town's previous doctor arise when a strange briefcase is found leading to the crash of the alien vessel sent to destroy the Earth. Can't wait.
Yep.
I know I was a reluctant latecomer to Resident Alien. Now, can't get enough of it.
It's fantastic.
Told you it was good.
Yeah. I might actually re-watch
I was thinking the same.
The first season just to...
Do we know, is that UK as well, or is that just Sci-Fi America?
I think it's UK. I read it got it from a UK news site,
cool.
so
Excellent.
I'm assuming that it's UK.
I hope they put them all up at once, because that'd be cool, rather than one a week.
Yeah.
But I bet they don't.
Again, I think if they do that, it's one of those shows you want to watch and watch.
Yeah,
so one a week's going to be a real pain in the arse.
It all does follow on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, other news items. In shocking news, Amazon have cancelled I Know What You Did Last Summer after just 1 season. What went wrong, Damien?
Wow. I mean, it received far from positive reviews. It was part of Amazon's attempts to appeal to a young adult audience and capitalise on the recent revival of slasher horror properties. But basically, it got slated from day one.
I mean, we saw this coming when we found out that it was being
I don't think
made.
any of us have actually watched. I haven't watched it.
I watched the trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think so. We've all seen, but apparently it was slated for its plot holes. The twists were either signposted so they weren't twists, or they were just crap anyway. It's got a less than impressive 40% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so you can see why it's been cancelled.
Sure.
No great shock there, and I'm quite pleased, to be honest, because I wasn't happy with the idea of doing it in the first place. So
People listened.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing that's hit the news desk this week. Apparently, there is a Scott Pilgrim anime series in development. Tell us more.
There is. Well, there's not a lot of information about this other than it's in development at Netflix. It's an anime adaptation, and it's going to be created by, or showrunner is going to be Brian Lee O'Malley, who created it in the first place. Apparently, I don't know. I've
Oh,
seen
yeah,
the film,
yeah.
but
I've
I
got
don't
the
know
books.
the history
I
of
have
the.
the books. The film's really good. I thought the film was pretty
The film's
much
brilliant. It's really
spot
good.
on, and obviously big fan of the director, whose name escapes me completely now.
Yep.
Spaced.
Yep.
Hot Fuzz.
Yep.
all
Edgar
those.
Wright.
Edgar Wright.
Edgar
Wright.
Oh, that would have been
Yeah.
painful.
That was an amazing film. I really liked it, but for some reason it didn't catch on. I think it was more a fact that people didn't know it was out, rather than it was about. I don't think they did the best publicity to draw people into that film who would have liked it.
Yeah, well, what was it?
just-
It's about 10, 12 years ago, something like that.
Is it really?
Maybe even longer. It's probably the wrong time for that kind of irreverent
2010.
humour.
Yeah, 12 years ago. I went to the cinema to see that with cousin Paul. 12 years ago.
See, I
really?
think it's a film that if it
still
was
a new
made now
film
and
to me.
released now,
Yeah, it'd be a smash
it
hit.
would be. It was the wrong time. But then I guess it's it's those films that built up the current
Yeah.
appetite for the sort of stuff that we are seeing. If that makes sense.
It was the Empire Records of its day.
Yeah.
It'll be appreciated outside of its own timeline.
Although I mean, I'm not so sure that an anime adaptation is it's not necessarily up my street, but we shall see.
Well, the original art in the comic was very much that sort of style in its own. Well, it had its own kind of. I'd say it was more anime than it was traditional
Yeah.
American, DC Marvel comic book. It had a kind of weird thing to it, but no, it'll be interesting. It will be epileptic seizure inducing, I imagine.
No doubt.
Because but it's good though. It's good that Scott Pilgrim has come back, and hopefully it will draw more people back to the books and the film. Because if they see that, they might go, "Oh, what is this?" and go from there. Hopefully. So I guess it's time to round things up.
Before we round things up,
Ooh,
there's just I'm going to make it a blind recommendation because it hasn't actually dropped yet.
ooh,
It drops on Friday. And it's called Archive 81. And it's based off a podcast that was out 4 or 5 years ago. I listened to the podcast and it was brilliant. Really, really good.
We poked the trailers on cultfaction.com actually.
Is
I've
it?
seen the trailer. Yeah.
So I don't know how well it's going to keep to the original podcast, but I'm really looking forward to this
Apparently
coming
the
out.
original people are involved.
That's cool.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it,
Yeah.
but I know the original creator, or whatever, is involved in this. They haven't just bought it and
No, so I've
butchered
seen
it,
the
you know,
trailer and it looks.
like
looks
sometimes
the
they're like,
podcast you can't look like a podcast, but you know what I mean.
yeah, a lot of them they sort of buy the concept and then just ditch everything about it, don't they? No, this looks like they are still involved apparently.
Well,
Yeah,
like a
don't
Wayne's World version.
they? Yeah, we're in Wayne's basement, but it's not Wayne's basement.
Yeah, so that drops on Friday. Hopefully it's good and hopefully it's a success, because if that's a success, it might mean someone picks up the Black Tapes. Is it Dark Tapes? No, it's Black Tapes, which again was a podcast around the same time as Archive 81.
Cool. So when is our movie coming out?
I was going to say, if Amazon and or Netflix are listening, which we know you are, you're listening to everything.
Michael Rooker, you're welcome to play me. Or Michael Ironside, so don't worry. Probably a bit older now.
Yeah, I think it's got a few too many years on you now.
Yeah.
And, the younger me can be played by, like... Actually, William Zabka can play me. I've decided now. He's awesome.
Fair
Who
enough.
would play you, Paul? Well, and Damien, get thinking.
Yeah, come back to me next week.
Yeah, I
Give
was
me some
gonna
time to think.
Yeah, put me on the spot there.
Who would play us? Let us know by email.
Adam Woodjet.
He can play anything. Let us know at cultfactionpodcast@mail.com. And also let us know any questions, queries, challenges. What should we be watching? What shouldn't we be watching? What do we remember? Drop us an email and let us know. Right then, for all the latest news, reviews and whatever else is going down in the hood, check out cultfaction.com. Please do take the time to rate us on your podcast apps like Apple Podcasts and that. All those reviews, all those ratings really do help YouTube as well. And you can also get us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and all the different social medias that are available. Again, this has been Cult Faction Podcast episode 43, moving into 22, still in a room without a view. And it's a good night from me.
It's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from me.
Shalom.
Lovely bit of squirrel.
Superman.
You got higher power.
Fuck off.
Hipsters. This is what hipsters have taken over the world. They've ruined rock and roll. They've ruined wrestling. They've ruined TV.
Michael McIntyre
Game
spinning
show.
people around in a fucking chair.
He's made
Fuck
it.
off.
Oh, Boris. Can you hold it like this?
Can you hold it like that?
He's the host. He's the host.
Yeah, you are
he
gonna-
is the host.
No,
he's the host.
He's the host.
No, so I'm saying, so he'll be at the time.
So, do you know what? I don't mind being the host.
I know you don't. No one minds.
It doesn't meet the mustard.